What's up, everybody in YouTube land? Today, I'm getting back to the reaction videos. Really, a reaction and an analysis. You know that I'm not going to skip that part. I'm voice teacher and metal vocalist Mary Zimmer, and I'm here today to take a look at SCARLXRD. I've actually been seeing his name come up a lot in lesson request emails. People asking me if they can learn the style of SCARLXRD or some of the harsh vocals that he's doing. He's inspiring a lot of people to cross genres with harsh vocals, and the song that I'm going to be looking at today is called No Control, and I have not seen it before. So let's take a look. This is VoiceHacks. Here we go. Let's just get right to it today, everybody. Let's dive in. This will be a genuine reaction plus my usual voice teacher explanation. And I'm hoping that when I nail down some of the styles by listening to it, that I can point you guys in the direction of my tutorials and the things that I have on my channel so you can kind of get started conceptualizing or kind of trying to work on some of these vocals yourself. So let's take a listen here. SCARLXRD. This is intense. So for sure, I'm hearing lots of voice with lots of distortion. We're going to talk about that in a minute. I'm trying not to do my dancing thing that I usually do when I'm watching videos. So far, I haven't heard any false chords or fry screams at all yet. This is awesome. This is freaking awesome. So he's super consistent on keeping the distortion over his voice the whole time without losing intensity at all the whole song. The actual pitch of his voice is really high, and he's letting the mic overdrive or something peak out when he's doing this in the studio. So the first thing I'm going to say is this is really cool as a metal vocalist to see this kind of move into other genres, but we actually have to realize harsh vocals started all the way back with blues. So it never really was entirely metal, I guess maybe the extreme vocals, although if you really want to argue, extreme phonations, maybe we've been doing since the dawn of time, like Humanity, grunts, or something like that. And what's really cool is this is sort of like new genre territory. It's not exactly traditional rap, and it's not exactly traditional metal. In this particular song, I can't speak for like his entire catalog. He does do like voiced notes underneath his distortion. And those of you who've taken lessons with me and follow my channel or did some of the playlists I have, you would know that I call that raspy with your voice or gritty with your voice, voice with distortion. You could call it rasp, you can call it grit. Some people call it fry, but that's actually kind of not the correct term because fry screaming is a whole other thing. So if you really want to know more than that, I have like a distortion vocals defined video you guys can go watch and learn more about that. But basically it's like he's shaking around tissues in his soft palate, his sinuses, his uvula, sometimes the vestibular folds, which are down here. We call those the false chords. Your vocal cords are down here, and your false chords sit slightly above them. And we can shake around a variety of these tissues while we are making sounds, normal voiced sounds, without actually shouting, although I think sometimes he kind of shouts a little bit and slams his chords together. But we can actually do that without shouting. Hey! And these kind of things. So you can hear there, my vocal folds don't slam, nay, but I'm getting like a lot of soft palate distortion, and he kind of drives this grit more or less depending on his emotional expression. You know, he's kind of just like a hardcore vocalist where they pick one pitch, and then they put the distortion on top of it, and they just keep doing that in different rhythms throughout the song. And he basically picked a certain pitch up higher, nah, like around there, a really high pitch for a man, actually. I have a low voice for a female, so it's kind of high for me too, but for most women, that'd be kind of okay, but it kind of leads me to believe that he's using the pitch to push to the top of his range. So if you're like a baritone, I wouldn't try shouting on the same pitch as him if you're going to try to learn this stuff. The good thing about rap music or hardcore or thrash metal is that if it's just one pitch of vocals, you can kind of take it down. It doesn't have to be the exact same pitch that the person did without changing the accompaniment. You know, in this case, it's not a melody, it's just a singular pitch, so you don't have to change the key. So if you are a lower voiced person and that feels strenuous to you and you feel like you're literally shouting under the grit to get those high pitches, I wouldn't do that. It's going to make you hoarse, and we don't want to do that. We want to try to generate all of our grit and our distortion from like our soft palate and other tissues and leave our vocal cords alone. So even singing with grit would be done in this exact way. So if you guys want to know more about how to do this and how to start making these sounds, then definitely check out my Screamer series playlists. Go to the main VoiceHacks channel, click on the playlists, and then you can kind of start working your way through these concepts. But don't just try to do this out of nowhere. Do not just try to blindly yell. If you do that, you're probably going to go hoarse, especially if you've never gotten grit going before and you've never felt the tingling of these other tissues and you've never really gotten that, hey, that kind of sound going in your voice before. I would not recommend, do not just yell out of nowhere to try to do this. In fact, I would encourage people to try this at a lower pitch before they try it at a higher pitch. Definitely avoid yelling if possible. I also recommend like my breathing from the diaphragm video, because if you're going to make extreme sounds like this and maintain the grit on a singular high pitch for a long period of time, an entire song, then you need to be pushing it from the abs and not the throat. That's really what's going to prevent yelling, making the right sound and pushing it from the right place. So, and I have taught a couple of people in the rap genre starting to do these types of vocals, and I've gotten a lot of email requests for lessons on these types of vocals. I really try to say this a lot in the comments. I know my videos get a lot of people started, or maybe people who are a little more experienced. It can take you a little bit further. But in general, I have a very full load of vocal students from all over the world, and it's because it's pretty unrealistic for you guys to learn something like this just from a couple of videos, right? And if anything hurts and it feels weird and you're not able to get it going on your own, don't beat yourself up. You can email me for lessons at voicehacks@gmail.com or follow some of the links to my booking site in the YouTube description below. But SCARLXRD is awesome and badass, and you can learn to do vocals like that safely, but it takes time and practice. It's an advanced skill, so just don't shout out of nowhere to do this, and you guys are going to be all right. Thanks, everybody. Please let me know who you want me to react to next. Give me your thoughts in the comments, and I will get back to reacting and explaining. I'll see you guys soon. Thanks so much for checking out today's reaction.